room. Try to get comfortable. Need to be able to see the camera. Go down with it. All right, so this clamp that I'm using to hold the neck on the flat part of the neck, you know, so I can clamp down and hold that to the table just fine. It was the same clamp I used to press this fret in. This is the first fret I've ever put in a guitar ever. And as Nick pointed out, cut it short first so that, you know, if you're going to leave it hang off any side, you know, you'll have to do the least work on this side. So what the problem is here, this is the neck I got off of eBay. Sorry if it wasn't in the camera there. What the problem is here is the angle that they ground these off was tremendous, and you couldn't just do basic things like this on the high E string. Now, whilst I could recut that nut and move that high E string in, that's not good for this kind of stuff, like when you're doing your D chord stuff. It's better to have that space, and this neck is really small, like a you know, one of the smaller, not full body Squires would be, like with a really narrow neck. It was basically, it wasn't the neck I ordered, so I kind of got ripped off. But I'm taking, I mean, I didn't get ripped off on the wood. The wood sounds great, and it's got this really cool, almost like an unorthodox, you know, a maple skunk stripe with a mahogany neck. Whatever that is, Powell Faro or Indian Laurel, I don't know. It's got green. It's actually got green in it. I don't know if you can see that on the video. I don't know what it's called, but the headstock is cut really sloppy and it's cut really small. It was not the same one that was in the picture. As I said, this is the neck you will receive. It's not the neck I received, so I'm redoing the frets, but it's coming out decently, so I want to share that. I'm going to turn this over this way. Wait a minute, let me turn the camera so you can see what I'm doing. I miss you and I love you. I miss my children very much. Sorry for all the bad words you children have to hear with everything that's going on, but, you know, it's kind of a stifling thing when people prevent people from speaking about being abused and using explicative words at the same time that could be used to be an abusive person also. So I heated this up to like 350, and I just got the regular small soldering tip on it, and I'm heating. Put this where I can see what I'm doing. I'll make sure you can still see in the camera. I'm heating the metal. So that's what's wrong with these frets. Basically, the angle, let's see if I can show you something here before I even do this. The angle, that's not really square. I kind of need something square to show you. All right, like the angle of that cut is like this. When I'm going to try to make it more like that, and then just, you know, round it. And whilst I'll feel the frets more when I'm playing, as long as the edges are taken off and it's a little rounded, it won't feel sharp. But, you know, as it stands, these angles were sanded like that angle right there. That's pretty steep. That's almost 45 degrees just about. It's not quite, but, you know, that'll be about 45 degrees, but it's pretty steep. Should be a little more like that, especially on the high E string on a very narrow neck, because, you know, going like this, you know, and it's rolling off every fret, and that's very gingerly, and so that's not going to work out. So here's what I did. So I put this on here, heat it up, and I had no tear out, absolutely no tear out, but they didn't use any glue on these frets, which is a good thing. Now this one here, hold on, I'll do this and I can tell you. It's a live video, so I don't have to be pressured for time, right? It is on, right? I'm not wasting everybody's time, including my own. Let's see. Are we on? Are we on? It says live, right? Oops. It's still on? Did I push the wrong button? I pushed something. It says something at the bottom. Hold on, let me see what it says so I don't mess up. It says, welcome to my live chat. All right, so it is on. All right. So Tighten this up. I broke this stand so many times from stepping on it. All right, put this here. Well, yeah, it was on Amazon, like $16. Pretty good. I got to use my right hand for the fret. So I ground these down because they got to be like real close. So I ground them on this here file actually. I'll show you how I did this. I'll just try to talk it through slow because it's live, so it's not like I gotta hurry for video length or something. This is the first time I've ever worked on a fret. So I'm heating this up quite a bit on the first part here. But there is no glue, so I really don't have to panic too much. All right. So I'm just very carefully. Might have to bite into the fret a little bit to get it started. And lift. All right. I'm kind of hitting the board there, so maybe I should be putting tape on there or something, but I'm not going to. So now I'll heat it up a little ahead of myself here. Can I zoom in? I don't know. I never try. Can it zoom? Yeah, it does zoom, doesn't it? Hold on. Lower. Is that better? Maybe. We'll go like this. I'm still going to pull up from where it's up here because I can get a good grip on it at this point. Heat a little ahead. There's no glue in it. There's only place that there's glue is in the ends. And the reason for that is when the wood shrinks back, the fret end doesn't have to be sanded, so you're not sanding away the wood. So that's the reason they cut back what's called the tang, or the piece that sticks under. Yeah, see, there's glue right there. All right, it's coming right out. That one came out easy. They didn't use any glue on this, so there it comes out right and easy. So I will save these in case some of them can be used when I'm done for something else, for an emergency repair. I'll turn off the iron. And I'll take one of these frets. I cut a little hole in the bag. This fender. These are like soft blackish metal. I don't know if they're like a high nickel content. These are more, I don't know if these are stainless steel. Standard guitar fret wire. So they're probably stainless steel, which means they're going to give a brighter sound, which on this mahogany with this thin headstock, which is going to resonate nice and honky mid-range tone, like a little bit of a horn tone to it. It's gonna, the brighter frets are probably going to sound better anyway, and they're going to be longer lasting. So what I did then was I cut it like Nick said. It was good advice. I take these side cutters and I'm going to take my pen, which is actually wearing out here, and I'm going to hang this side over just a little bit to be ground, and this side I'm going to cut just a slight closer like that. See, maybe even a little closer than that. I don't want to go too wild. And then when I cut it, at first I was doing it with the little hacksaw, but I realized I don't need to. It doesn't crush too much if I put back far in here and I cut straight down. It cuts pretty sheer. I don't know if you can you see it at all. It cut pretty sheer. Now I cut a little bit of a steep angle on that, but so I'm going to make sure that I don't end up in the same situation by putting it. Or did I burn that with a soldering iron? Yeah, I did. It's character. I think it's a well, yeah, right. It's a relic. It's a relic guitar. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of this tang in here. I got to cut a little at a time because it really comes off kind of easy almost. If you just twist it off, it seems like. Really, it does. All right. So I cut off a little more than I want to. And I'm just going to do this. For the first part, I got to do only pull strokes until I get it going. And I try not to sand off the edges of the frets, just the tall part underneath. And it did sand a little bit of the fret off, but I'm not worried about it. And I'll show you what I do. All right, so now I'm going to put this on here, and I want to hang it off a little bit because of that steep cut I put on there. Make this an angle. My vision is skewed here. So yeah, you want to see if I can get in closer without me stepping on the camera here? It's possible, I suppose. Without me stomping on the camera. I tend to do that. Watching my hand isn't going to help. Let's see. So it's kind of difficult to get up over the top. See, I try not to say the word hard because all the sex abuses that have been done. It's obnoxious. It's getting old. All right. People shouldn't have to be scared to say like normal things like come and hard and everything's something dirty. It's really frustrating to live like that, honestly, and not normal. And I don't want my children or their children to have to go through an eternity like that. It's just stupid. So that's where that is. All right, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna cut a little off this side. I'm gonna leave it long on both sides. I'm confident I can grind them down or cut them pretty easily, I think. I don't think it's gonna be an issue. All right, so this comes in like sections. It's like serrated or corrugated. So I can break off like 2 tang pieces there. I call that the tang. And then my eyesight skewed here. And I'll pull, and then I can go both ways now. Well, because if I try to go both ways, it'll just push. I got to get it ground first by pulling. The push stroke actually seems to cut better in some cases, but I don't know if that's accurately true. All right, so now that's that. And I'm going to put it. I didn't have to clean these frets out or anything. There was no glue in there, so that's a good thing. But I am using now the same clamp that I used to hold the neck. If you can see, let's move this up out of the way. Can you see me there? Yes. I have to watch what I'm doing here. I'm going to leave such and such amount. I have to use this to see what I'm doing. I'm going to leave so much of an amount hanging over the end here. Not too much, but... And I have to make sure that how much of my tang I nipped is clearing the glue, and it looks like it is. And then I put this clamp on here, and I've used no hammer. So in using no hammer, there'll be no dent in the fret at all. No possibility of a dent in the fret. And it's not necessary to use a hammer because there was no glue. It's a fairly loose fit, which I don't think is going to be a problem. I mean, I could be wrong, but I do play guitar, so I try to. Yeah, now, I don't know if you can see. Wait a minute. Maybe I'll zoom out. Let's zoom back out here. Let us, as if I have to ask permission, right? Always asking permission our whole lives. So the angle of this right now is like almost straight up. So I'll be able to put a little bit of an angle on it, but not as much as what was there. And flat sand that with the grinding block, and I'll put tape on the wood to try not to cut into the wood at all. I'll try to leave as much maximum on this side. This side, really, the frets all could have stayed, but this is an issue because his neck is so small. I really need the maximum there because I'm not moving that in. I want that space there to be able to play. So, all right, so I'll just check it again. Make sure it's all pushed in there. This is the first fret job I've ever done, and this one is going real easily. Real easily, because there was no glue, and because I guess maybe because I have some common sense of playing guitar a little bit. I do play guitar. So we'll take some glue, cyanoacrylate. You can call it what you want, super glue, insane glue, nutcase glue. Not a very nice name for a glue company. But, and then push it up under the fret like that. just under the edge only. Just because I don't want it to lift. Because I wouldn't say I did a fret job, but I was trying to level a few frets at a time on this one guitar. And no matter how much, I kept going, why? I don't understand. It was perfectly level because the one fret was moving like this on the end. It just was not down, which was like really not good. So put that on and I'll go like this and I'll put pressure like that on the end. And I'll go like this. And these are rubber, so it's not going to hurt the neck. All right, that's 2 frets in. That's pretty great. And then once I got 3 frets in, I'll check it with a straight edge just for fun and see. Yeah, you could see I'm a little long on this side, and I'll just cut that off. This side I'm not worried. That's my bass string side. This side here is the one I want to get. Instead of that angle, that was like, where am I at here so you can see what I'm showing? Maybe like this. Wait. Instead of that angle that was like this, I want to try to get the angle up a lot higher like that, and then just round it. And whilst when I'm playing, I'm still going to feel the frets rubbing against my hand, but they won't be sharp. You know, if I do it right, they won't be sharp. So I'd rather have more fret there on the end so that I can really rank on the high string, you know, without having to worry about rolling it off. But at the same time, rolling it off is a fun little tactic too. You know, it could be like, makes kind of like a little, I don't know, a little bagpipe sound or something weird, you know, just rolling it off the edge like that. Yeah, I'm looking at it. This angle's just like, whew. Somebody learned how to fret a guitar on this neck, and they were like, "Oh, just send it to him." You know, I paid for it. It's supposed to be right. I mean, whilst I got it for a fair, low, reasonable price, it still should have been right, and it should have been playable. Nico can play very well, and he couldn't even do this on it without coming off the fret with a small E string on it. So 9 gauge. So I was like, there's no way. I put a heavier string on it, it's going to sound even worse. It's not going to work. And I mean, I was thinking maybe if it's heavier, it won't pull as easy, but I was like, well, why not just fix it right? You know, I don't want to move that cut back in because that space right there, when you do that D chord thing, that extra space is what you need, especially on such a small, I mean, this neck is small, right? But that's pretty cool, right? Like that. They used a maple stripe in there, and that's mahogany. That's a pretty good sound. Yeah, and this thin headstock means more resonance. It's going to really vibrate. So you're going to get a lot more sound off of you, being anybody who plays the guitar, is going to get a lot more sound off of the top. Turn the heating iron on. A lot more sound off of the top of the neck, which if you have very vocal sounding pickups, like, so-called scatter or hand wound homemade pickups that have a little bit of a microphonic personality, it's really going to show a lot more of the neck tone, which is a good thing. All right, so now I'm just letting that heat up for a second. So moving right along, it's actually quite a success so far. I don't know. I'm thinking creatively because these are different frets, but how interesting would it be to have like half stainless steel and then half, raw nickel or whatever it is down near the top? That would be the really interesting sounding guitar. And yes, I would only do that out of laziness, but it would still be, I'm not lazy though. But that would be really interesting, wouldn't it? I think so too. I hope this is recording. I'm doing an awful lot of work here. I don't see any comments, and usually I'll get like ridiculous amounts of comments. Not that those are bad things, but what does it say? Welcome to my live chat. Guard your privacy and abide by the rules. I hope there are no rules. Oh, it says 12 people are watching, so there are people watching. All right, you don't have to comment. That's fine. Hopefully my children are watching. I love you, and I'm sorry you had to listen to that really dirty talk in one of my last videos. Plug your eyes, children. Plug your eyes. Don't watch that video. Well, I mean, the police need to know. And then he's like, oh, you said that to a lady cop? I'm like, listen, man, y'all need to stop. If she's wearing a gun on her hip and she's willing to shoot me and put me in handcuffs, then she needs to listen to the evidence. Those guys threatened to kill me, and they said they were going to do terrible sexual things, punch me in my sexual mouth. And they said terrible things. And these are people that are saying there's 30 witnesses that said I attacked them. And they're lying because their twin or doppelganger was not them, but they were there, but it was not them. Double story. It's like, don't throw me into the fray because you don't want to be honest. And then they're telling me just go along with this. This is a program of rigorous honesty. If you watch the video, they're like milling around in front of the camera so they can be like, oh, he broke our anonymity. I asked permission before I pressed record. And the guy who did not want to be on the camera, I did not put on the camera, even though they were all standing there scaring me really bad. But anyway, the guy told me he knew where my children was. And then he said that wasn't him. He never said any such thing, but he was there. So, listen, I found out I had an identical twin, and I'm not going to lie to somebody and say, yeah, that was me. I was there. I understand doublespeak, but I'm not going to do that to somebody and then have somebody else be hurt, to protect myself. That's crazy. That's what they do. They lie. They're like, oh, it's better that one man should go down than, so many other people should get in trouble. What about my children? They say those things to me. These people have children, and you're messing up their lives. It's like, what about my children? They have my children, and they brag about it. So I don't want to be negative. I want to stick on this, but so I'm heating up the first part of the fret. I'm not negative, but I don't want to be on a negative topic. Is what I meant to say. So I'm heating up this first part of the fret here. Heat. I probably don't even need the heat really, except for the glue that's there on the end. And I bite into the fret. Don't worry about crushing it or biting it because you're not going to get under it. If it's down tight, you're not going to get under it. And honestly, I don't think I even need to heat the rest of this, but I'm going to. Because there is no glue and it's coming right out. Some people do. They take the liquid cyano and run right along the edge of the fret when they're done. I might do something like that. That's probably better than putting glue in the fret. How did I burn the board again? What am I doing? I'm touching it with this part. All right, so there you go. There's that fret. Neighbor laughing at me. I can't stand all this negativity. It's like, go get in your car and go for a ride and go do something. Like, leave me alone, I don't have a car. I don't have my children. These people sit around surveilling me all day and night. It's really frustrating. They're really disgusting. All right, so that's pretty clean. That's pretty good. There's absolutely zero tear out there. So I'm going to go over to my bag with my little slit that I cut into it. Here. I just cut the little tiniest slit so I can sneak one fret at a time out of it. That way I don't, in this big mess here, in this big mess, I don't lose 11 James Street, 12586. I put the barbecue grill on the porch and the mailbox, and I put the galvanized Petland's Dairy Milk box on the other side. Put a lot more detail. I got to figure out how to make the gutters. So, all right. Now, I probably am getting better at this, so I'm just going to cut this one by eye. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm just going to cut it by eye, and probably will do a pretty decent job, I think. Make sure it's up straight, and boom. Just by eye. It's okay. I think it comes with 24 frets in case I mess up. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. So now I want to take off about 1.5 tangs on each one of them. Wow, I'm getting faster at this now. That's good. That's a good symbol. Good sign. All right, cut that off. I'm pretty confident that I can level the frets. That part doesn't worry me too much. It's just installing them and sanding them, grinding them without cutting any more off of this, already ridiculously thin neck. I can't afford to lose any more there. It's really been over sanded and overground, which is why, they didn't send me the one that was in the picture, which was a lot fatter and was good. All right, so I'm gonna cut a little more off of that. I don't want to cut too much off of that. A little difficult to cut off a half a tang. Probably should cut it with a saw or something first, but that's all right. Too bad I can't get right up close to this, and I have to grind it. I don't like doing that because it takes a little off the edge of the fret. I'm tilting the pressure in, so I'm getting in and not just off the edge of the fret here. It does cut at a little angle. All right, you want to see that? If I can show it to you, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Oops. Where is it? I can't see my hand in the camera. Where is my hand? Oh, there it is. So that's what I did, see? Cut like a section of the tongue or the tang out of there. And that's good. That looks good. All right. I want to get it real close on this edge, as close as possible, so I have to do the least amount of work to that side. Because that was the problem side. The whole reason I'm doing this with brand new frets that were never leveled, even though I said they were leveled and dressed, they were not dressed, nor were they leveled. Nor was there a thin nitrocellulose finish on this neck. Nothing that it said. But, you know, whatever. I'm rolling with it. All right. Now, go ahead and press that in. Press, 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 press. All right. Sorry if I go out of the camera for a minute here, but I want to really put some pressure on this. And then I'm going to roll this way, and then I'm going to roll off the other side just to make sure it's all pressed in there. And I'll go over here like this, hang off that side, press. Pretty good, pretty good. It's going good, it's going good. I'm not going to keep doing the glue because the frets are hanging off the edge a little bit, and I'm not going to cut them close. I'm going to grind them close, but I might just do the thin, wet cyanoacrylate like that afterward, because it's not like it's going to go inside and, you know, cause the fret to be stuck in there. It'll definitely fill up any gaps and keep the fret from lifting, like that other problem that I was having. And I could always go back and tap them with a mallet. I noticed that this fret, like up here, had several hammer dents or something in it, you know, from tapping. Because I did start to do a little bit of fret work on it to see what would happen. Yeah, that's an interesting thought if I do that. Just stop about halfway and leave half of the nickel raw metal or whatever they are, and then the stainless steel. that would be a lazy, interesting thing to do, wouldn't it? But I might do that. And then just level it all together. I mean, what's the difference? A fret is a fret, right? I'll be right back. I'm going to go show Nick because he wants to see it. What I'm wondering, because we weren't really having problems up here, I don't think. What I'm wondering is if I just do half of the frets and then have soft metal dark frets up here and hard stainless steel here and just level them all together.
That's good.
It's lazy, but it's interesting too.
That's good.
That's an interesting idea, right? Because it'll sound different. When you get up here, the notes will get warmer on the soft metal.
Yeah, you'll see. Then I'll put it on.
I mean, I could always go ahead and finish it out.
No, you don't need to.
I don't think so, because we didn't have any problem up here, right?
No. The problems are all the way
up about halfway. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. All right. I don't know. I'll have to think about it, because stringing up the guitar and then deciding it wasn't the right decision is a lot of work. So moving right along, turn the heater back on, which is working really well. Probably don't even need it, I'm realizing, because of the lack of glue, but there is glue at the ends, and I really don't want to bust out the glue at the ends. So, I mean, I could bust out the glue because it's stained. It's like colored glue. So I was trying not to bust out the glue at the ends. On each of these ends, it's filled with glue. Reason for that, like I said, when the wood shrinks back and the fret starts to hang over, it's not hanging over down here. So you never have to try to sand the side of the neck, only just around the fret itself. I guess that would be the reasoning behind cutting back the tongue off the frets, which is what it seems like most people do. But I've seen plenty of guitars where the fret comes right to the end and they just but that, if you had a neck that was, that girthy and that, here it is, right? Oh, that could be structural. No, it's not. If you had a neck that was that thick and girthy, you could afford to overall lose a heavy 16th from each side, not from each side, but overall to lose a heavy 16th from grinding and sanding. This one, I cannot afford to lose a 32nd. It's too small, so I don't want to mess that up. All right. Periscope down. Uh-oh. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, I burned the fret in 2 places and I've only done 3 frets. I better be careful. Not the fret, but the fretboard. Yeah. So basically, because I was trying to lean it like that, the heat really heated up off the side here. Now, like I said, to start it, I really have to bite into the fret. Make sure I'm not burning my pants. There it goes. Came right up, no problems asked. So, yeah, I probably will put a block of wood and a hammer, piece of hardwood, and go along and tap, obviously not dangling into space like this. Tap each one. Look, I did it again. I did. I burned the fretboard again. Oh boy, I better cut it out. I better quit while I'm behind. Whilst I'm behind. Exactly. Well, this is coming right out, man. I'm not even gonna bother with the rest of the heating there. Turn this heater off. It's pretty, very simple going so far. No tear out whatsoever. None whatsoever. Only burned the fretboard in 3 places out of 4. That's pretty good odds. It's more character. I love you. I miss my children so much. I miss you so much. Where are they? Where are my children? Yeah, the guy said, your children are up the road. Go get them. I said, where? Tell me where they are. If you know where my children is, this isn't a joke. And I did. I called them really bad words because they said they were going to punch me in my penis sucking mouth and really horrible things. And they did definitely lay hands on my bicycle at me. And it was pretty upsetting. If they had a car in a parking lot and I wanted them to leave, I would not go touch their car, like what the, they had to make a big scene. And when the cops came in that other video, what you saw, they did make a big scene. They're like plowing me up the stairs. I'm like, why don't you get away from me? Back off, man. They're like, we're making sure you leave. And then they go out into the parking lot and they're like, oh, now you're going to have it your way. Here's the police. You should have left. And they made a big stupid scene, and that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Well, it does stink because I was trying not to drink. And, just because some people ended up there with serious issues, doesn't mean I wasn't going to the sobriety groups for the spiritual principles, the actual fellowship of community and society, and, abstinence from drinking and sobriety spiritually and mentally first and foremost. Obviously I was still drinking, but I wasn't in denial. I wasn't hiding that from anyone. That's why that fellow gave me, nice things, because, he knows that my heart was sincere, and he could see and hear that there was people talking about me, and he knew what was going on, and that my effort was sincere and theirs wasn't. Kind of heartbreaking, actually. All right. Probably laughing because somebody heard me say that and didn't like it. Well, they shouldn't be surveilling me. That's the answer. All right, now. Yeah, he's got the head pods on over there. All right, now put this in here. Gotta make sure it's standing up straight, because it is a tight fit, which is why I'm probably going to tap it with a hammer after everything is said and done. Said and done, not cut and dried. Cut and dried is a tobacco reference, in case you didn't know. Tobacco was first solicited by the military, just like pornography was. Why else would they go to war blowing people up and killing them? Because they're perverts. That's the truth. China is not my enemy. Russia is not my enemy. Vietnam is not my enemy. People that do wrong things are the enemy of things that are right. But Russia and China and Ukraine and all these things, these are not my enemies. It's called propaganda. Enemies are right here at home. Right here at home. Right here in the States. Calling themselves shadow government and shadow AA and shadow church and satanic panic and ha ha ha, and go to a prostitution club and call it a gentleman's club, and it's not normal stuff, man. Real perverts. Yes, the song lyric is incorrect. Gold is not the reason for the wars we wage. Maybe for the wars that they wage, but only gold, so what? So they can get fancier bidets and hot tubs and get more naked people in them because they're perverts. There's your answer. All right. Well, I suppose I made this video showing how it's done. I guess I'll make another video when I get to grinding them because I'm not going to do it until I'm done. But I am thinking about getting about down halfway and just having half stainless steel frets and half soft metal frets. But maybe not. Maybe I will not be lazy and go ahead and change all of them. It's just that the fretboard gets a little finer down here. It's a little more delicate. But maybe I should just do the whole thing and do one fret job. Seeing as this is my first fret job and these steels have different hardnesses, and it's not going to necessarily be easy to grind them in accurately if they're different softnesses and stuff, being my first fret job. So I probably will do the whole thing. So that's that. I hope you enjoyed watching it and hope I enjoy sharing it. I miss my children. I love you. Your father loves you. Yes, I look rough. I'm exhausted. I've been through days of fighting and fleeing and being hit by cars, and I'm exhausted, but I'm not 52 years old. Not 52. Can't see me in this lighting. See, I'm not 52. I'm fat and I'm tired looking. Fat, like super fat. But my hair's sticking up. Yeah, they turned off my shower water again. Like while I was in there, it turned off. It's on a hot coil. I don't want to hear about the tank anymore. It's just like, stop eluding sanity and lying. It's on a hot coil. I'm not stupid. All right, so that's that. Have a great day. Oh, it does say, oh yeah, it says 38. No, clocks are wrong. Maybe it was. No, clocks are wrong. I'm not 52. All right, have a great day. Love you, miss my children. I hope nobody was moderating and preventing people from commenting, but you're always welcome to. Oh, all right, want to stop? Yes.